What's up? This is a full review of my Nasdaq day trade today on Monday, July 1st. Start of a new month, start of a new quarter, start of a new week. If you tuned into my live stream, I was a little unsure about what would set up, and I realized the same exact setup that I was looking for last week on the 4-hour time frame was still in play. So I was initially worried since last week we came and this was the draw, was this PDARRAY fair value gap here. We obviously hit that. And same thing with the ES, where ES also made equal highs though. So there's a few things that I noticed during my live stream this morning. For our trade idea, this was still an unfilled PDARRAY matrix. We got an inverse fair value gap, we got a fair value gap, we got an order block, all in a discount. And then that wasn't enough for me because in my mind, this was a little sketchy here, trying to get long after we had just a huge rejection off of this PDARRAY. But because ES left these equal highs above, I had conviction, okay, we're bullish and there's a reason to draw higher. We're still bullish because there's nothing confirming downside, first of all. Well, first things first, there was no clear market structure shift to continue downside to the downside. Same thing on ES. And then now that I had remembered this area here, I also saw there were equal lows here on the ES. So that was my trade plan. I was like, you know what? This is still in play. I know Nasdaq's going to be stronger versus ES based on my analysis. And there was SMT divergence already. So as Nasdaq came down, that's when I started debating getting long. I initially got in and out really quick here just for scratch trade because I knew for me to have conviction, we would need to sweep this low, which we hadn't yet on ES. We were still up here. So eventually we did break this low, and to my luck, Nasdaq did exactly what I was wanting it to do and hold strong while the ES sold off into those lows. So I got in right near the very bottom, and my target was a bit higher than here, but I did get out here at this swing high because a few reasons. Here's my executions here. So here's where I got in, here's where I got out, just on the smaller time frame chart. But I also had the flow confirming my thesis for this trade. The Qs were bullish. Excuse me. That flow was bullish for the Qs. And then right before I took my profit, which gave me conviction to hold just a little longer, we saw this big call premium spike. But then we had a sell-off here. So that's where I was like, you know what? Puts are still rising here. I'm starting to lose confidence. And for me, just how we did break this high technically. So I was like, you know, that's enough. There's a few soft reasons for me to get out. And because there's not just one, there's several of them, I thought that was a good time to exit. And obviously, we don't know if this is going to keep going higher or not. But for today, also knowing that this PM session will probably chop because the Powell speaks tomorrow, and there's JOLTS job openings for around the same time. I was just thinking, you know what, this is just a logical area. We're already in a good profit above 4R, and this could easily just come back down, you know, and still eventually head back up. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to exit for the day, and if we get another setup, we'll get another setup, and I'll try to get long again tomorrow. So yeah, that was the setup. That's why I got in, was, you know, the 4-hour matrix here. If you look at the higher time frame, there's no bearish displacement on the daily, which is the minimum for me to switch bearish for for like bearish trades, shorts. We did have a displacement here on the 4-hour, but then a failed displacement here, and then obviously a market structure shift here, which was what we were looking for to retest with this order block. So great trade. The only thing I might have been able to do better was maybe just getting in more size. I could have put my stop below the order block wick instead of this low wick, which is hard to say in hindsight, or hard to say in real time, because this, you could call this the order block too. So yeah, that's the only real thing, and maybe just entering here on the midline would have given me a better entry, which means I would have gotten in another contract, which would have doubled my gains there. So that is the only thing, just remembering to enter in on the midline. But other than that, we had already gotten, there wasn't anything, that's just a nuanced detail for me to really do better if I can nail those entries, but nothing to really write home about until I'm like really getting better and more consistent, obviously. So yeah, great trade. Had a reason to get out due to time, and also, yeah, it was the end of lunch, so I was like, yeah, this could reverse here. And if you see now, the flow flipped bearish in a way with the premiums on top, put premiums on top. So anyways, yeah, good trade. Nice sweep here on the ES. Tomorrow I'll probably be looking for a similar setup, just a pullback entry or something of the sort. Maybe ES wants to come down again and hit this new week opening gap, who knows. But yeah, good trade. I would label that as an A+. For everything I had going on, everything I knew is great plan, great executions. Here was my game plan here. Wait for each index to trade into an area of interest. Oh, maybe I didn't write it down. I must have put it in the video, I guess. But yeah, there you have it. There's the trade. Good trade. Hopefully we can emulate this going forward. I really like these multiple PDARRAYs in confluence with each other, where there's an inverse, a regular fair value gap, and an order block. Didn't need the inverse, but just having this order block here was what I really liked. Just having a fair value gap with an order block. So, and a swing low. That's like another thing I like to have there too. So 3 things for liquidity. All of them were met, as well as intermarket analysis was the same. Nice sweep here, little order block here, so really good trade. This is a good one for me to playbook and review for later. But yeah, there you have it.